Captain Shailesh, I'll request Captain Shailesh to come in at this point and talk us through his views on, how is data analytics affecting our industry, and what's the future which he feels. Over to you, Captain Shailesh.
Thank you, Gaurav, for the kind words. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear.
We can. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I mean, everybody's talking about data all the time. It's technology which is changing continuously at all given point of time. I mean, we used to use a Nokia phone not even a decade back, and now we have a smartphone. Everybody has a smartphone. So what exactly is that? There's a technological advancement. And what is the advancement that has happened is that there is a lot of data that is available now. What is happening with all the new technology? Everything is data driven. You would have heard very commonly used term, data is the new oil. And trust me when I say it is not exaggeration. It is a gold mine. It is a new oil. That is what is going to be driving the world and the industries going forward. Now, can we ignore data when it is such an essential part of the maritime industry, wherein almost 90% of the world trade is carried on maritime ships? So you imagine the amount of data that is available. What happens is, I'm just showing you some statistics. As of yesterday, there is 328 million terabyte of data that is created each day. So this is on a each day basis when I'm talking about. Our phones are only 256 GB. Now imagine this millions of terabytes of data that is coming in and created each day. When I say created, it is captured via phones. On a holiday earlier, we used to take one photograph because we had one camera. Today, for the same shot, we take about 20 photographs. That is the data that has been created. That's the amount of data that has been created. Now, what do we do with all the data? The most important part of any question or anything that is there is what, why, and how. So all this needs to be analyzed. This data needs to be, got into useful use. That is why what do? We do data analytics. And what is data analytics? Data analytics is nothing but converting raw data into actionable insight. If I tell you there is just take an example of one phone. If I tell you there are 5,000 photographs on your phone, especially with WhatsApp, and I would have those. But what are the useful photographs that are there? Probably 5, probably 10, probably 50. That is the useful actionable insights through which you will make a video of or something out of it. So similarly in the maritime space, data is very important. So, and anything that is raw data has to be converted into actionable insight. Why is data analytics important? Because as Gaurav briefly touched upon, it improves efficiency, it reduces costs and increases safety. Let me tell you, I see a lot of mariners, especially we see a lot of senior officers present as well, almost 33% of senior officers. We use the term called leakages. In the system, there are leakages. When we talk about leakages, is how many times people have complained, मेरे को same form 3 बार भरना पड़ता है. I have to fill the same amount of information 3 times. I have to do same thing repeatedly at every given point of time. What is that? It is inefficiency. There is cost of time as well, which is going because every time matters as well as the inefficiency. There is incorrectness of data, then there is human error. So it becomes important that this data analytic is done and analysis is done, and more importantly, that there is correctness of data and it is one data. In my organization, we have what we call it is the single source of truth. That data does not lie. What is there is right in front of you. And how do we do data analytics? We have various tools that are there. You have Power BI. We started off with Excels. Earlier, we used to use, calculator, then we got into Excel, then now we have Power BI, Tableau, R, Python. These are the very commonly used. There are, of course, a few more that are there, but right now these are the commonly used in the maritime or the technology space, which is readily available. And this is why we are having this webinar also, that Captain Gaurav has taken the initiative to upskill the maritime fraternity to the technology advancements that is happening around. Shailesh, can I have the next slide, please? Shalu, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. Like you saw that the amount of data that is gathered from or generated in the world, how is it relevant to the shipping industry? If we are being very specific, a newer ship, as you would have, people are sailing. Earlier, we used to have MC engines, which is the mechanical engines. Now we have the ME engines. Just giving you a very practical example. Yeah, is the electronic engines. A single electronic engine or a vessel in particular can give you 4,000 data points. When I mean by data points, these data points are continuously generated every second. Now you imagine the amount of data that is being generated from the ship at any given point of time. Below is just a brief example. As you've all sailed and you've seen, speed does keep changing every second. It goes, vessel is moving, the time is moving. A classic example, time is moving. So there is a timestamp that is there. There is the AI's information. There's a marine information. The engines are moving. All this is all data points. We say anything that is electronic, yeah, or anything that is on electricity will have some data that could be captured out of it. So it all depends on the use case that we have. There are about 60,000 ships in the world which are registered, and registered are much more. But this is what we are talking only on the assets which are in water. Now you imagine the assets which are offshore. You have the ports, you have the infrastructure, you have the roads. And when we talk the complete logistic chain, you can imagine the amount of data points that is there that gathered on each day. What is most important is the analysis of them. And this is where the skills are being developed, especially in the maritime space, or as we say, as the expert, as Captain Gaurav had already pointed out. Shalu, if you go to the next page. That is, what are the opportunities that we have? These are just the technology that is there, or as we called the fourth revolution. Yeah, the industry 4.0. You would have heard of IoT, Internet of Things, or big data analysis, or cloud computing. All this, how is it all driven? What is the backbone of all this? Is good quality data, good quantity of data as well. This is just at the bottom, you would see our shipping organization, which is into the digital roadmap. In their digital roadmap, what all do? They use IoT of things. Just to explain what IoT of things means, there are sensors which are already on board, and they are sending you pulses and tags at every second, every given point of time. It has been captured to let know how the information, what is the information that the machinery is providing. To make it very simple, I can tell you that it is like the machines talking to you. And this is the language that we take. This is the language that has been coming. You have to convert that language into meaningful insight. This is where the experience, the expertise, and the domain knowledge of anybody who is in digitalization or wants to get into data analytics will be needed. Shalu, if you could go to the next slide. So when we talk about career progressions for mariners with data skill, I think there is no two ways about it that maritime industry is a very peculiar industry. It has its own jargons, it has its own requirements. I'm working with I have a team of more than 50, 60 people, many of them non-mariners. Trust me when I say it takes me some effort to even explain them the difference between an auxiliary generator and a main engine, because for them everything is machinery. But these are the finer things that comes into play when you come with experience from the maritime background, because you know what the industry, what the ship is, what the machinery is, what the weather is, what the domain requirement is. So mariners, or be it on the deck side or the engineering side, they have unique set of real maritime knowledge. It is not something which is learned in a course in 2 months or 3 months. They actually have gone on board. They've actually said they understand from where the data is being generated. If I tell you, okay, the AIS data information is coming, they have a rough idea what all information is coming from the AIS. Yeah, they are better able to comprehend the meaning of these tags, because at the end of the day, the data that is coming in certain tags. and these tags have to be understood, which a marina or somebody with a maritime background understands better than a technology background or somebody from the technology field. So now when you mix the two, when you are a marina and you have certain skill sets for data analysis or data understanding or anything in the digitalization space, I would say there is a lot of opportunities that are there for everyone, be it a person who's sailed on the ship or never sailed on the ship, but just has some maritime knowledge, a formal maritime training knowledge, or sailed on the ship as a fifth engineer, fourth engineer, or even as a cadet, to a master who's been sailing on the ship for many years, or to somebody who's already ashore, who's come ashore as a superintendent or into operations or as a voyage analyst. There is a lot of requirement to upskill yourself. This is where Captain Gaurav and his team has actually curated a program which is very specific to the need of the industry. This is what is lagging is the understanding and the real world application of data. This is what they're trying to
So what we are going to do from next week is we are going to start a maritime focused intermediate Excel course, right? We are going to have 12 hours session, total course length, wherein it will be divided into 4 sessions, 3 hour each session. One session will have 2 hours from Miss Shobha. Shobha is an expert trainer into Excel, and then 1 hour from a maritime expert. So Mohsen is there, Shailesh Singh is there, who will teach that 1 hour every day. In session one, we will do about database creation. We'll talk about protection of workbooks, cell addressing, referencing, and these fundamentals are extremely important, because what happens is you may know about other advanced features, but if you don't know how to actually start making a table, how to start creating these databases, it may become difficult for you to then progress and do advanced things in a much better manner. So that's on session one. Session two is mostly on, again, a 3 hour session. It's on formatting features, data validation, and we have a more detailed view of what will happen in session two, which we will share in a brochure as well. Moving on, we'll have another session, session three, which will be of 3 hours again. And session three will get into the advanced stage, wherein we will talk about dynamic database concepts. We'll work on functions. We'll work on logical functions. And if people are able to grasp the basic things in session two itself, maybe we will prepone this to some of this session three to session two as well. So again, 2 hours by an expert, and 1 hour by a maritime expert who is expert in Excel as well. And in session four we start with creating of charts, creating of pivot tables, and then we of course give you assignments which you need to answer. We will also give you a certification of the course once this is through.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the BI part, the course, we have divided into 2 sessions. Okay, there is session 1 and session 2, and both will be roughly around 2 hours each session. And the first session will be mostly focusing on the introduction of Power BI, how to get started. Basically, you will be downloading the Power BI desktop into your desktop or laptop, and right from there we will talk about the settings, what settings are required to be done. Then going forward, how we are going to connect the various data. Right, data can be from various sources, so we will learn how to connect all this data from various sources. Then we will learn how to create a rolling calendar. Now, rolling calendar is very important, because what happens, especially when we are handling data where you are getting a daily based data, like for example noon report. Okay, so noon report is being sent almost every day. You have created a nice dashboard, but now tomorrow some another new data comes in. So how to get it into the visualization. So that's why it's important to have a rolling calendar with you. So you need to know how to create a rolling calendar. Then we will touch upon some of the DAX functions, right? How to create a new calculated column, how to create quick measures and basic measures, like one which I have created right now. So these things we will do on the session 1. And also then we will see the relationship model, how we are going to create a relationship in the relationship view. So then you might be working with different files, not necessarily one file you will be having. So how to connect all those files in the Power BI. So that also we'll be seeing here in the first session. And can we have next slide? Yeah. The second session will focus on building the report. So all the groundwork we'll be doing in the day 1. And finally, on day 2, we will be working on the visualization part, that how we are going to create a nice and value giving visualization. It's just not cosmetic, but also it should provide some value. So that kind of visualization we'll be preparing, and we'll see it on the day 2. And finally, we'll do some managing the Power BI part, how some data refreshing, sharing the reports, how it is done. And we'll discuss about some of the best practice also in the session 2. Can we have the next slide? Yeah. Okay. So basically, that's all about the data analytics course part. And I think one more part which I'm missing is the bonus part. So maybe I can continue with that.
Yeah, quickly. Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the bonus part is basically here that we are going to add how we are going to learn or leverage our data analytics using artificial intelligence tools and ChatGPT. So that's a bonus part we have included in this course. And not to forget that all these are all project-based learning, and it will be all focused in the maritime industry only. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
It'll be a total 20-hour course. 12 hours will be on Excel, 4 sessions, 3 hours each. Then we'll have 4 hours of 2 sessions, 4 hours for BI. More importantly, after these sessions are done, these 16 hours, we will have problem solving sessions as well. So for example, after this Excel and Power BI session is done, we will give you a project. So we will give you a data. That data could be on maritime trade. That data could be on something which is related to maritime, maybe accidents or something. And we will ask you to prepare a report and present that report, right? Because that is essentially what you would be doing in your professional life as well. So once we give that to you, we will have a problem solving session, which will be of 2 hours, one hour on 2 different days. So that we'll decide on the course, which days would that be. And then in the final on 23rd of December, we'll ask for a report submission by you guys. And after that, we will also issue a certificate as well. All of this is maritime focused. These are the key features of the training. It is instructor led training. So a lot of trainings which is happening nowadays is just video training. You cannot ask questions over there. Over here, you can ask questions at any point of time to the trainer. We will give you real-time case studies and the ones which are relevant, and there will be doubt solving sessions. After the course is finished, you can always send an email if you want any support in terms of how do you do this or how do you resolve it. That exclusive email support will always be available after the course. If you move on to the next slide, this is the schedule of the course. Second is a Saturday. Third is Sunday. So 2nd and 3rd December, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then the next weekend, 9th and 10th December, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's the Excel course. Power BI, 16th and 17th, 10 to 12, again Saturday and Sunday. We've planned the doubt clearing sessions on Monday and Wednesday, but we are open and we are flexible on this as well. And then finally, there will be an assignment presentation by all the candidates. So report making, how will you present? We'll give you that assignment. And finally, you'll get a certificate after you finish the course as well. Moving on. What's the price of the course? If you just do the advanced Excel course, it's at 5,999. If you only do Power BI, it's again at 5,999. And if you do both of them, they'll cost you almost 10,000, 9,999. And you'll have a 10% discount on each course or all the courses if you book it by 27th of November.